myself and Joseph Ham and Hillary have just collected some data on a survey, a national survey regarding drones, and we really quickly pulled some data out of there that I think really highlights why this is an interesting conversation. So before we move further, when you all think of a drone, picture a drone in your head. Okay, everybody has an image of it. Now, how many of you? Oh wait, sorry. So drones can go by different terms. Most of you may know that people who are strong advocates for drones really don't like the term drone, and they prefer the term unmanned aerial vehicle or unmanned aircraft system or a remotely piloted vehicle. But typically the public and the media refer to them as drones. But as we found out, drones mean different things to different people. So the drone that you pictured in your head, how many of you, raise your hands, pictured this kind of drone? A little over half. And how many of you pictured pictured the drone that didn't come up? That didn't. So there's supposed to be a predator drone right here, okay? So how many of you pictured a predator drone? So significantly fewer. But when I first started doing this is what I pictured as well. So when we use the term drone, we really, people are bringing sort of different ideas to the table. So I'm just going to show you a tiny snapshot of the data that we had back. And so without spending too much time, so we gave people the different terms that I just listed, as well as the term drone. So you saw one of these terms, and then you saw a drone, and we measured their attitudes on a scale of 1 to 5. And you can see there's not very much of a difference. And we also measured people's affect, so how do they respond, what's their emotional response to drones, and overall, people have more positive affect than not. And when they're concerned about the dangers drones present, they're really evenly split between safety concerns and privacy concerns. But after we asked them these questions, then I asked them the same question I asked you, except I actually had the picture of the drone. Which of these drones most closely represents what you look at? And then we took these people and we split them into their mental representation of the drone, whether they imagined a quadcopter or whether they imagined a predator when they saw the term. And then when we split the people out that way, we noticed that there's differences. And that people who are imagining a quadcopter, they feel more comfortable with the term drone than if they are imagining a predator. And so their attitudes towards predators were lower, especially when they were given the term drone. And then when we look down here at the positive and negative affect, if you compare these two groups, people have more positive affect towards quadcopters, and people have more negative affect towards predators. And then when you look at their concerns versus privacy versus safety, if you're thinking about a quadcopter, you're slightly more concerned about privacy versus slightly more concerned about safety for a predator. So then we also really quickly gave them some different kinds of drones for different purposes. In fact, this is called a Shrike drone. It's the exact same drone, except one says rescue on it and one says police. So one's used for search and rescue and one's used by law enforcement. So then we showed them a predator drone, which is still not working for some reason. Still can't see it. And then we showed them an Amazon drone that doesn't even exist yet, but is being talked about in the media about delivering packages. And so they're giving all of these. And what was interesting to me is that, just draw your attention to this real briefly. It's the same drone, but it's being used for a different application. Search and rescue versus law enforcement. And you can see that this is the attitudes right here on a scale of 1 to 5, that people were had much more positive attitudes for the same drone being used for search and rescue than for law enforcement. And then down here for the concerns about privacy versus safety, people are much more concerned about safety when it's being used for search and rescue, but they're much more concerned about privacy when it's being used for law enforcement. So the point of showing you some data before everybody else talks is that I just want to drive home the fact that people aren't thinking of the same thing when we use the term drone. And the emotional baggage that they bring by that term differs between people. And that emotional baggage is quite diverse. So people are concerned about safety in some instances. This is where a drone almost hit a skier in a downhill European skiing incident, I think maybe a month ago, if that. People are concerned about privacy, especially when law enforcement or individuals can fly a drone perhaps over your property. And there was not an insignificant amount of people who were also concerned about sort of the rise of the machines and this Terminator 2. We had some open-ended questions in Terminator 2 and Skynet turned up a bit more often than you would think they would. So drones mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and from my own personal standpoint as a risk communication and decision science scholar, I think it's very interesting in that they present high benefits as well as high risks. And so for me, that's a very fertile ground for research as well as very fertile ground for in-depth discussion. So with that sort of intro, I want to start us off with Bruno. Why don't you go ahead